Good afternoon, LA Pipe Smoker here with a subset of my collection. The purpose of today's video is to show you some of my favorite pipes. A number of you asked if I would do that, and I've been thinking about it and decided, sure, why not? I usually make my videos on Saturday. Today's Sunday. As you notice, I've had a little bit of a cold and haven't really felt up to making a video, but today I'm feeling pretty good. Got my sense of smell back, and I'm smoking in one of my favorite pipes, my Altanach Meerschaum Frogmorton's on the Town, one of my favorite blends. So let me fire this up, and we can go through some of these pipes. Well, first pipe I'd like to talk about is a pipe that I got back in 1981. My first real serious pipe, as that is. It's an Ascorti KS Business, and smokes like a champ. It's a wonderful pipe, and oh gosh, I've smoked everything in this thing. Aromatics, English, probably mostly aromatics. But I was just smoking this the other night. Absolute dream smoke. Next is my Peterson. By the way, this is in no particular order, so these are all my equally favorite pipes. And this is a Peterson 999 spigot Army mount, 9mm, and it's a good smoker. It gets really hot though, right around here. And so I've been kind of careful to build up a cake, and now it's getting a little bit better. For those of you new to pipe smoking, it's really important that you build up it's called a cake in your pipe. And what that simply is a layer of carbon that helps cool and protect the underlying wood. Now, briar is a great wood that resists burning anyway, but it makes the experience of smoking a whole lot cooler and also a little bit more absorbent, because that cake layer tends to absorb more and more of the stuff. And so as you're smoking a brand new pipe, you want to kind of go easy on it. And after, 15, 20 times, you should have a decent cake built up into there, and shouldn't be much of a problem if you're careful in your smoking. Yeah, that's a Chinook, I think. You can hear that on the tape. Oh, since I'm talking about that Peterson, let's talk about this Peterson. This is a deluxe system pipe. An 8S. Interesting story behind this pipe. This is the one that didn't have a condenser, that I had to attach a condenser onto. By heating that up, sticking it onto the plastic stem. That was exciting. And smokes like a champ now. It's a great pipe. Why don't they ever make these pipe racks actually so they can fit pipes? I have no idea. I think the best way to build a pipe rack would be to have it tilted back a little bit so the pipes naturally rest instead of this unnatural upright position. You pipe rack designers out there, write that down. Another pipe that is a favorite of mine is this Blathering. It is a Canadian pipe maker, Blathering of Montreal, Canada. I got this online, and if you look, the grain is absolutely beautiful on this pipe. Very close together. A nice burl wood end grain at the top. You see the bowl is a little off center. That might have been why they were selling it for what they were. But it's a great pipe. It's also a great smoke. I suppose for those of you who might be wondering, you know, do I have to spend a lot of money to buy a really good smoke? And of course the answer is no. But there are some things you should look for in a pipe. Now the close grain, that's more of an aesthetic. Doesn't necessarily mean the pipe's going to be a better smoke. But one thing that does make a pipe a better smoke is well-seasoned briar. That briar is nice and dry. All the oils and everything have been dried out from them. And that's why buying pipes online, it's a little more risky because you're not quite able to actually hold the pipe and feel its heft. A light briar pipe is going to smoke well. It's going to probably smoke a lot like a meerschaum pipe. Very dry, very cool. And I have some examples of these. This is a Savinelli Nonpareil. You can see those two little dots. It's a beautiful pipe. It has a vulcanite stem. This pipe is probably from the 70s. Military mount. And this is a 9mm Savinelli. But the briar, the bowl, is incredibly light. It's feather light. As a matter of fact, this section of the pipe weighs more than this. I mean, this is the pipe. The center of gravity is way back here. It's an incredibly light pipe in terms of the briar. And as a result, I can smoke this without the filter, and it smokes like a champ. It smokes beautifully. You can see the grain on the rustication. It's not completely destroyed. It doesn't just look like sandpaper, but you can really see the grain on this rustication. And you can see the quality of the grain on the top of the bowl. It also has a vulcanite stem. Vulcanite stems are made of rubber, and as a result they oxidize. So what I do is usually put a little beeswax or some chapstick on it, and it protects it wonderfully. It doesn't tend to oxidize with it that way. And it's a much better material for gripping with your teeth than is lucite, although lucite's a lot easier to take care of. The older pipes typically have vulcanite. I haven't really run across any new pipes with vulcanite. I'm not saying that there aren't any, it's just that I haven't run across any. Another favorite of mine is a Thowen Duke 9mm with an army mount. A rather heavy pipe, I think. It's pretty thick, has a pretty thick bowl in there. But not the best briar in the world, but a good smoke, a decent smoke. You got to be careful with this thing. It'll gurgle on you sometimes. I tend not to smoke aromatics in this because it just really does heat up. The briar is not the best. You can see it's just kind of a general rustication. Nothing too special about the briar itself. Machine made. Unlike the Savinelli, where you can clearly see the grain pattern in the pipe. And I think that if you're looking online for a quality pipe, if you can discern the grain like that, you have to have good grain in order to do such a rustication. No fillers on this, no fill. I don't know if there's any fills on this. This is all just kind of modeled together. But still, it's a great pipe. Enjoy it. My latest pipe acquisition is from OMS. An old bird got me interested in this. This is I guess a stubby Dublin. And look at the detail on the top of the bowl. It's really quite beautiful. And it just fits in your mouth and easy to smoke, great draft. What a beautiful band. You can have either a brass band or a silver band. I wanted the brass band. I thought it complemented everything rather nicely. And it's a great smoke. It's a wonderful smoker. And it's a sitter, as you notice. You just set it down like that. It's perfect for driving. Okay, I'm sure this has gone out. Next one is a pipe from the 70s. This is a Chacombe, or Chacombe. I love the Zulu shape. You can kind of see it's black, so it's harder to see against my t-shirt. But incredibly light brighter. Incredibly light. And smokes quite well. The only problem is that I think the only blend the person who had that pipe smoked in it was Mixture 79 by Sutliff, because it was so ghosted with the thing. I tried smoking Latakia, all different brands in it, and all I got was Sutliff 79. So I re-reamed the pipe. I did what's called alcohol retort with the pipe, and it's come down a little bit, but still, it's a Sutliff 79 pipe, and so as a result, the only blend I smoke in it is Sutliff 79. So it's a great pipe and smokes quite well, not filtered, but I can usually get an hour out of this bowl. Look at that. So it looks like a very thin wall, doesn't it? But it never heats up. And again, you get the older style rustication. You can see that tends to follow the grain a little bit better than some of the others. I'm just going to put this down. Maybe light it back up in a minute. This is a Wiley pipe. Oops, now I'm knocking things over. Okay. This is a Wiley pipe. And look at the grain on this thing. It's just a beautiful pipe. And it's big. It's a big, fat pipe. It's like smoking a barbecue. And look at that rustication on the bottom. That's very whimsical. I think this is from the 80s. I'm not sure if that's the original stem. It's a lucite stem. My guess is it's not the original stem, but it works just fine. And it really smokes well. You can put your lip right there, or not your lip, yeah, kind of like that, and it hangs down, and then that kind of supports. You kind of sit there with it like this. It's a great pipe. It's a great smoker. Look at how thick those walls are. And it's a beautiful pipe. Beautiful pipe, beautiful smoke. Now, just by comparison, this pipe weighs less than this pipe. This pipe is a heavier pipe than this, believe it or not. The briar on this pipe is much older, much more seasoned than on this. They're both good smokers, but this one clearly is a better smoker pipe. It never gets hot. You can chooch the hell out of this thing and you'll never feel it. It's a wonderful pipe for aromatics, and I use it mostly for aromatics. Then down here, my knockoff Savinelli, the Rossi pipe, you can see here, is a fairly recent acquisition. It's an 8611, so this would be of the same model as the Savinelli 611. The Rossi's put the prefix of an 8 in front to denote the difference. So this is an 8611. This is the kind of pipe you can buy for, I don't know, $60, $70, and it smokes fine. Kind kind of heavy on the briar. It's a heavier pipe, but again, it's nothing bad, and it smokes fine. Don't have any problems with it. And I usually smoke English blends in this particular one. As you notice, I talked about smoking English blends in this and aromatics in this. Most of my pipes, I mix the two. Some say you shouldn't, but in my experience, it's really okay. But in this one, I tend to smoke more of the English blends. Okay, let's come back up here. Let's see if I can get this pipe to stand up straight. This is my one and only Dunhill pipe. It's shell briar, and you can see the grain. Once again, you can see the grain. Now this is a much older briar. The stem is new from Dunhill. It's a new stem. It's lucite. I suspect the old stem was probably vulcanite, but I really bought it for the briar. And this is featherweight. I mean, even given the fact that it's very small, it's still very good briar. And it smokes absolutely wonderfully. It smokes a lot like a meerschaum in terms of how cool and how absorbent this pipe actually is. It's from 1948, so in terms of pipe age, it's the oldest pipe that I have. And got a good deal on it, and I'm very happy with it. Definitely a kind of a mini version of the larger shell briar, but it really smokes well, and it's a beautiful pipe. Going back this way, this is a very special pipe. You want to talk about a pipe that is both beautiful in terms of the briar. You can see how close the grain is, how vertical the grain is. You can see the burl wood on the top. This is a vulcanite stem. It's a Castleford, and it was one of the Castleford pipes made by Colin Fromm, who later went over to Dunhill in 2003, early 2000. And he's an amazing pipe maker. I don't know if he's still alive, but just a beautiful pipe. Kind of a poker, well, I'm knocking over this pipe again. Okay. Kind of a poker design. And this is just flush, and kind of an interesting square tenon and stem. You can set the pipe down. It's a sitter, definitely. I use these little softy bits on my vulcanite stems that I smoke a lot. It keeps the stem from getting too much chatter on it and discoloration where my mouth meets the stem. With vulcanite, the spittle and so on and so forth, that doesn't sound nice, tends to discolor the vulcanite. So you also want to keep your vulcanite stems out of the sunlight. That will oxidize them a lot more quickly. And again, when I'm done smoking, I just put a little bit of beeswax on this, nice little coating of beeswax, and it keeps the stem quite nice. I renovated the stem myself, and it was just really heavily oxidized when I got it. And now it's definitely acceptable. It's worth it. And the weight of the briar is incredibly light. It's a very light pipe, very good briar, very old briar, I think. And it smokes like a champ. I put everything in here. I chooched on this like you're gonna burn down the house, and it holds up wonderfully, and has never given me a second gurgle on anything. You could put seaweed in here fresh out of the ocean and smoke it, and you wouldn't get gurgle. So it's a really good pipe. Colin Fromm really did a nice job. I believe the pipe was made in 1998, which makes sense because he went over to Dunhill right after 2000. 2003, I think, he joined Dunhill. And last but not least is my, I already talked about this one, my Peterson. Sorry, that's it. Oh, video's over. Well, anyway, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed my little tour of my pipes. I gotta have this lid for my exit. Good old Frog Morton. Anyway, those are my pipes. I'd really be interested to see what sort of collection you have. You know, it doesn't need to be fancy. You don't need to spend a lot of money to get a good pipe. And don't fall into pipes of a similar shape. Experiment a little bit, you know. I'm glad I did. I really resisted buying something like this. And now that I have, I absolutely love it. It occupies a unique place in my pipe collection, and it's more likely that I'm going to smoke this on a regular basis than if it was another pipe that looked very similar to another one. I know it's easy to get into kind of a rut of buying pipes of similar shapes, but I really would encourage you to experiment and go out on a limb every now and then and buy a pipe that you may not have bought otherwise. Anyway, it's been a long video. I appreciate it if you've stayed around this long, and I want to give a shout out this evening to a brand new presenter. His name is Max Wolf Northwest. So his address I'll put down in the bucket so you can check him out. A great guy, and he really could use some more subs, and I'm sure he'll be getting quite a few more. Just an update, don't forget the 19th of February will be the last day you can enter my 100 GAW. And that's been going on for some time, but I have a lot to give away, and I want to give everybody a chance to put up a VR who wanted to. At any rate, have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.